Hello everybody, this is Ricardo and I'm playing Elite Dangerous. Now I'm out in my Imperial cutter to go and find some additional rare materials. Now I have it on good authority that in the Orrere system, O-R-R-E-R-E, and I'll put it in the comments, there's the planet 2b, which also has a landable base on it. However, there is a ship crash site there, which, if you shoot the cargo racks that are strewn around, spawn rare materials. Then, if you do the board switch method, you can gain virtually an unlimited amount of rare materials, which can be used to fashion items from the engineers. So here I am in the Orrere system, and I'm on approach to planet 2b. Now the coordinates that I need for this are plus 43.85 and minus 73.98. Be careful though, there is what seems to be a pirate base on this planet in those locations, and that can also lead to an atmospheric battle. Now I'm combat dangerous, I've got a highly developed Imperial cutter with A-class engineered shields and all the rest of it, I can withstand a beating from some of the ships that they put up against me. However, it does deplete your hull health and therefore makes you vulnerable to anything that might happen in system. So once you get on approach, try and locate the coordinates from the atmosphere as close as you possibly can. This crash site does tend to be at the bottom of a canyon, and it is going to be a crashed anaconda. There are, from what I can see and what I've found already, 3 cargo racks. Now those cargo racks can spawn anything between 1 and 2 items, and I think that depends on how and when you hit it. This video is very dark, the planet is in its dark cycle. I've tried different times of the day and it does seem to be very dark anyway. So use of the ship lights, use of the lights on the scarab is a must for this. Now, when you do get close, there is a ship data core to scan as well. So lots of things you can do, and it is pretty good and pretty eerie to see it. There's an awful lot of canisters strewn a lot around the area, holding things like bertranide and gold and palladium, and also in addition you have these cargo racks. Now what you can see here is that I am engaged in atmospheric combat. This wasn't so bad, I quite enjoyed it because they were, smaller ships, and the weapons on my cutter did see them off without incurring too much damage. Though I was pretty close to the surface, so under 2k, and it was quite difficult to maneuver, so the smaller ships like the Imperial Eagle did have an edge on my big lumbering cutter. All that being said, it did break up the monotony of looking for this crashed ship, and I'm happy that I did it. So be warned, either go there with 2 people or have a nice beefed up ship with beefed up shields so that you're able to withstand these attacks. Now let's say there's also a base there as well. I started by taking out the planetary weapons that were involved there as well, because they did start to fire at me. You did also get a warning that you were trespassing. Hey, not to worry. Here we are. So once you've seen off those pesky pirates, or whatever they are, into the scarab and head off and try and find those coordinates. I made good use here as well of the external camera, so you can see around you in a good field of view as opposed to just being out the cockpit. It's very handy in case you fall down a chasm or a valley or, a mountain range. So making good use of the external camera does help you get your bearings. Now, with a bit of perseverance, and I'll try and enhance this picture as well, it's very dark, like I said, you'll come across the crash site. And it's a crashed anaconda. Lots of cargo, as I've mentioned, strewn all over the area. Now, as we know, the Scarab can only take 2 tons of cargo at any time. However, materials, that's a different story. You can pick up, you've got a cargo capacity of materials of 500. Problem with this is, if you've been playing the game for a while, then you've already been collecting materials for an engineer anyway. These materials are very rare. Now you can see the crashed anaconda. There's canisters like gold all over the place. Birchenide. And you can see they're all over the place. Now what I did, because I was under attack, I dismissed my ship. So I have to find a place now where I can set off and then bring the ship back so I can scoop up and make the most of being here. Now, whether this changes with the new release of Commanders that comes out mid-April, I don't know. But I thought I'd make the most of being here, like I said, and getting as many of those materials to enhance shields with engineers and whatnot. To me, it's a no-brainer. I think this would be well worth doing. Now, the cargo rack shouldn't be too hard to find, or the first one shouldn't be too hard to find. And shooting it will release those materials. Taking it nice and slow. Lots of rubble, lots of obstacles around this crash site. And it makes sense, depending on how many scarabs you've got, whether or not you move a bit faster and incur a little bit of damage. But filling up on some of the cargo, in my opinion, is just an added bonus. It's legal salvage, and you're not going to incur any fines when you get to a space station. So we've located the cargo rack. Giving it some with the guns, we'll let it spew out its contents. Then once you've done that, you can pick it up. Like I said, you can carry more materials than you can with normal cargo canisters, so you haven't got to go back and forth the ship if you're only here for those materials. So yeah, we got ruthenium by the look of it, so we'll scoop that up, and then what we can do is the board hop method of we just come out of the game and then just go back into the game, and then it'll respawn, and that's how you're going to get your wealth of rare materials. Now, I don't see this really as a game exploit. I've thought long and hard of this. Things like Robigo mines, yes you do. Perhaps the Draconis missions where you shoot one ship and it counts across multiple missions. Yes, that's an exploit. I expect those to be nerfed when Frontier does the new release. Although you never know. These things do tend to come back, you know, to sort of like promote discussion amongst the community. As you can see, the cargo rack has respawned. We're going to go and scoop that stuff up. This is just game mechanics. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Once you scan the ship core, it becomes a crashed point of interest as well. And as I mentioned, that's going to find things. As you can see, my artificial intelligence is being quite witty. That's Leo from the HCS voice packs. So it'll make finding that site and returning to it all the more easier, which makes me think the developers have put that in place. So once you do find it, it is a method of getting those materials so you can engineer more upgrades easier, instead of just hunting around looking for them randomly strewn around a planet's surface. So there you go, there's another cargo rack. No worries and no dramas, we've destroyed that. And we can scoop up the materials. Now, I did mention there are other cargo racks as well, and by taking a quick look around, it's not too hard to find them. So we know about this one here, another cargo rack. If you go left from here and down onto the right side of the crashed ship, you can find another cargo rack. The other cargo rack, and also you can then scan the ship's core. The other cargo rack is up from this point here, up to the right on top of the hill by a red cargo container. So just by driving around, you're going to tend to just find these things, and there it is. There's the second cargo rack. Just to the right side of the downed ship. There you go. It spews out its cargo. Scoop it up, and that's even more for you. Now you can drive on top of this anaconda, but you should be able to just drive down the right hand side of it. And the the data core will show up. There it is. You could scan it from there if you wanted to. Or you can go into turret mode, swing around, have a good look round. And scan it from there. So I'm going to try and run a brightness filter across this video as well, so we can show up some of the detail, because I say it is very dark, and it seems to be like 11 minutes of me just talking around with not an awful lot of graphical stuff for everyone else to see. So I can see what I'll do. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. There are more videos in the series. I've been Ricardo, and this has been Elite Dangerous. See you soon.